We've got breaking news coming out of the Pacific right now. There's a system that's developing fast, and it's a huge reminder of why we all need to understand these storms. So let's get right into it.
And here it is, the urgent update you need to hear. What we were calling Tropical Storm Gil, well, it's just been upgraded. It is now officially a hurricane, and we are watching it very, very closely as it just continues to build strength out there over the open water.
All right, so let's jump right into the very latest data and see what we're looking at with Hurricane Gil's current status.
Okay, so as of the last advisory, we're looking at a Category 1 storm. Hurricane Gil has sustained winds clocking in at 75 miles per hour. Now, location-wise, it's way out there, about 1,080 miles west-southwest of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula, and it's booking it west-northwest. But here's the really interesting part of this forecast. Gil's got a super small window to get any stronger before it runs into cooler ocean waters. So the experts, they're actually expecting it to start weakening pretty soon, probably in the next 12 to 24 hours, and it'll likely become what's called a post-tropical cyclone in just a couple of days.
So here's the main takeaway, right? The good news is Gil isn't expected to threaten land. But, and this is a big but, it's a perfect real-time example for all of us. It's this powerful flashing sign that hurricane season is here, and being prepared, it's not just a nice thought, it's absolutely crucial.
So that brings up the question, what's actually going on inside a storm like Gil? I mean, how does a simple group of thunderstorms morph into one of the most powerful forces on the planet? Let's talk about the storm's engine.
You know, NOAA actually calls it a recipe for a hurricane, which I love, and it basically has 4 key ingredients. First, you need some kind of weather disturbance that's already there. Second, and this is the big one, you need really warm ocean water. We're talking at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and deep too. That warm water is pure fuel. Third, you need thunderstorms. They're the spark that turns all that ocean heat into raw energy. And finally, you need low wind shear. That just means the winds aren't fighting each other at different altitudes, so the storm can grow tall and organized instead of getting ripped apart.
And once that engine really starts revving, a very clear structure starts to take shape. I'm sure you've heard of the eye of the hurricane, right? It's this weirdly calm, often clear spot right in the middle. But don't let that fool you, because right around it is the eye wall, and that is a whole different story. It's a wall of massive thunderstorms where you'll find the absolute worst winds and the heaviest rain.
And this whole idea of a heat engine, it's not just a metaphor. A researcher, William Straka, put it perfectly. He said that the convection, all that thunderstorm activity, it is the engine. That's the mechanism that takes the heat from the ocean and converts it into those ferocious winds.
So what's the magic number? At what point does a tropical storm get that official promotion to a hurricane? It's right here, 74 miles per hour. As soon as the storm's sustained winds hit that mark, bam, it's a hurricane.
Okay, so we know how they're born, but how do we stay one step ahead? Well, forecasters use a really specific set of terms to warn us about the danger. So let's decode the forecast and understand these alerts.
This might be one of the most important things to get straight in your head, the difference between a watch and a warning. A hurricane watch means hurricane conditions are possible within the next 48 hours. Think of this as your get-ready signal. It's time to start your plan. But a hurricane warning, that's a whole other level. That means those conditions are expected within 36 hours. This isn't get ready anymore. This is finish up and get safe time.
And that brings us to the cone of uncertainty, something a lot of people get wrong. A hurricane is not a dot on a map. The impacts, I'm talking rain, wind, all of it, could stretch for hundreds of miles outside of that cone. So even if you're not in the direct path of the center, you could still face really dangerous conditions. You can't just focus on the skinny line in the middle of the cone, you have to pay attention to the entire storm.
We also rank these storms using the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. You've heard of it, right? Cat 1, Cat 2. A Category 1 has winds from 74 to 95 miles per hour and will cause some damage. But once you hit Category 3, that's considered a major hurricane, and we're talking devastating damage. And a Cat 5? That's just catastrophic. But, and please remember this, wind isn't the only threat. Water is often the deadliest part of a storm, and even a weaker storm can cause deadly flooding.
All right, so with all of this as a backdrop, let's bring it home. Let's make this personal. What can you be doing right now to get ready before a storm is even a blip on the radar? It's time for your preparedness checklist.
The number one thing you can do is build your disaster kit. And you want to have enough supplies to last for at least 7 days. We're talking a gallon of water per person per day. A 7-day supply of food that won't spoil. Of course, you need flashlights and lots of extra batteries. A battery-powered or hand-crank radio is a lifesaver. Make sure you have a 2-week supply of any medications you need and have some cash on hand because you can't count on ATMs working. Oh, and grab all your important documents and stick them in a waterproof bag.
Prepping your home is just as critical. Anything outside, patio furniture, potted plants, yard art, can become a dangerous missile in high winds. So bring it all inside. It's also a good idea to trim any weak or dead tree branches that could come down. And like we said, stock up on the essentials, especially water.
And please, 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 don't forget your pets. They're counting on you. They need an evacuation plan and their own disaster kit too. You need to know ahead of time which shelters will take pets because a lot of them won't. So pack a bag for them with food, water, medicine, and their vet records.
Okay, now for something that's really important to talk about but often gets overlooked. The danger doesn't always end when the storm passes. We need to talk about what happens after the storm and how to avoid getting scammed.
It's a sad fact, but after a disaster, there are always people who try to take advantage of the situation. We're talking about price gouging, illegally jacking up the prices on essentials like gas, water, or generators. If you see it happening, you need to report it. There are often hotlines set up, like the one here, 1-866-9-NO-SCAM. Keep that number handy.
And you know, we have technology on our side too. There are free apps like the No Scam app that lets you report price gouging and shady contractors right from your phone. You can even upload pictures and receipts. It's a really powerful way for you to help protect your whole community from these predators.
Contractor fraud is another huge one. So here are the red flags to watch out for. Be super skeptical of anyone who just shows up at your door unsolicited. If they ask for the full payment up front, that's a huge warning sign. Always make sure they can show you a license and proof of insurance. And if anyone uses high-pressure tactics to get you to sign something right away or offers to waive your insurance deductible, just say no.
So when it all comes down to it, here's the bottom line. We can track a storm's path, we can analyze its every move, but we can't control it. A storm's path is just a forecast. Your preparedness, though, that is 100% your choice.
We'll continue to keep a close eye on Hurricane Gil and other systems out there. The most important thing is to be vigilant, not just for the next storm, but for everything that comes after. Stay safe, stay alert, and don't forget to like and subscribe for real-time weather updates.